Hello everybody, welcome to Manchester Airport. It is a bit of a cloudy, overcast morning. Today we are flying down to Frankfurt, Germany. So let's hop in and get her going. So we're going to do a quick set of the panels. Make sure we get everything set up the way we want it. All right. Grab my handy checklist here. So, parking brake is set. Chocks are set. Ground power unit is connected. Thrust levers are idle. Engine master is off. Batteries are on. Generator switches are on. External power is on. The gears are set to nav. That's 1, 2, and 3. Panel displays. Since we're up here, we'll turn you up first. Hope everyone's having a good day. It is Thanksgiving weekend up here in Canada. So everyone's getting ready for that in whatever form they are allowed to take it in. Put on a notch of floodlights and we'll get the pedestal lights up. I always forget these ones, so we'll get those up now. And landing gear lever is down and checked. Flaps are up, spoilers are retracted, fuel quantity is checked. That is seat belts and no smoking. So now that we've got the plane set up, we'll head over here. We'll get the ramp, baggage, and catering in. We're not going to worry about the fuel. It takes them forever to get here. We will do that. And that should have us set up and the passengers are starting to load. So de-icing we're not worried about. Now we're in Europe, so we're going to go 7,000, transponder on standby. Throw the beacon light on. Emergency lights are set to arm. Did that one go on? Thought that one went on. FMC setup. So it's a simple flight. Winds are out of the west in both locations, so we're going to be taking off to the west, turning left, heading south across the channel and into Germany. So we'll head over here. I'll get the barrel in a second. So there's the aircraft information. We'll do our initialization. Flying from EGCC to EDDF. That's Manchester to Germany. No company route. Our alternate today, pull up my other paperwork, is EDDK, which is Cologne, or I think it's Köln in German. EDDK as our alternate. And our flight number today is FL8. Is it 38? 838. Cost index for the flight is 25. And our cruise altitude today will be flight level 310. So if we go over to the flight plan, I've got most of the big waypoints already preset in. As I've mentioned in a couple of videos before, Microsoft tends to plan a different route than SimBrief and stuff. And because I use Navigraph with the moving map, I want my route to be sort of the same. So we're going to head over to here. So we're taking off on runway 23 left. That's the one. And we're using the LISD 2Y departure. So we'll insert that. And our arrival over here at EDDF will be the ILS for runway 25 left. Just checking my charts. Yeah. It's just going to be the ILS for runway 25 left. We'll vector in. And we're going in on the FlyUK 2B. FlyUK 2B. Transitioning at cha. That's fine. We'll put that in so we can go over here to plan mode and take a look at what we're looking at here. So if we go to top of our flight plan, we're going to take off, turn to the south, then head east. We're going to go, that's pretty much over London. Then we head across the channel to there. Let's come back a little bit. And then we come in, and that's our approach into Frankfurt. So that is looking good. So we can go back to our performance page here. And it'll be a flaps 1. And now we'll recalculate our V speeds. So V1 of 125, VR of 131, and V2 of 135. Not worried about the radios as we're not using them. All right. So that's the FMC is set up. Departure briefing is done. And we are waiting for the adheres. It looks like we're all done outside. Baggage is done. The doors are away. So we're kind of waiting for the adheres to catch up and get set up for us so we can go. So if we pull up Sky Vector here, and we go EGCC to EDDF. You can see there's the route there. We're actually going to head down here and then come along like this and then angle back up slightly before coming in and landing. So pretty much that's the route, 450 miles to get us to where we're headed today. So 2 minutes to go on that. We're going to start the APU just because it takes a while to heat up and get going. And then we'll be good to go. We're running a little bit behind on our time. We should have been off the ground at Actually, is this clock time or... No, this is sim time. So we should have been off at 8:35 UTC. So we're running a little bit late. Never know how far back to set the time. Okay, flaps open. So we'll start up the APU, and by the time that's up and running, our adheres should be loaded, and we should be good to go. Just getting our, it's not a long taxi. I'm just going to get my airport chart up so I can see where we are and where we have to go. Should be fairly straightforward. Out to runway 23 left. Yep, 23 left. Alright, we're about halfway up on the APU and the adheres have aligned. All doors are all closed. Can hear the APU in the back. All right, throw the taxi light on, let them know we're about ready to go. And we should be available. There we are. So APU bleeds come on. Passengers are all loaded. External power can't come off. So we're going to push back. We're going to swing the tail to the left as if we were facing the aircraft from behind. So I think we're ready to start our push. So ground cars coming in to move. Waiting for the pressure on the front of the aircraft. There we go, brakes are off. And start engine number one. I'm gonna start to push around just after we hit this line here. Oh, before we forget, actually we did forget, but we'll get that now. Fuel pumps come on and swing the tail to the left. Straight back a bit. Straight, and that's good. And parking brake can come on. All right. Engine one is running. Engine one is stable. Engine 2 start. There's our pushback leaving. And there's engine 2 starting. Sounds like she's up and running full. Oh, good start on engine 2. Fuel flow is good. Igniter to normal. All pumps are on, everything's good. APU can come off. Taxi lights are on. So before taxi checklist. Alright, probes window heat set to auto. Heading altimeters set our barometric pressure. Pressure is set. Standby instruments are set. Radios and avionics are fine. Autopilot 31,000 feet. Set. Flight directors are on. Auto brake set to max. Flap set for takeoff. Elevator trim 1 up. Speed brakes are armed, and flight control check. Oh, that is full left, full right, neutral, full back, full down, neutral, rudder left, rudder right, neutral. Alright, taxi checklist. Taxi lights are on. Parking brake released, and we will taxi down to the end of the runway, which is not far, as I mentioned. It's kind of down this way. Everything is working. So taxi takeoff config is checked, and we'll just let the cabin crew finish up what they're doing, and we'll give them a ding in a minute. So we're gonna head down over here. We're going to cross over this runway. Oh, we got somebody following us. Crossing 23 right. Don't see anything down there. We should be good. And we're going to 23 left. So now that we're over, we'll give them the get ready to go.
Camera crew seats for takeoff, please.
Now, I forgot to do something, so I'm just going to take a minute. And it is going to be annoying. Actually, no. Not going to worry about it. Anyway. So, our before takeoff check lights. Parking brakes, instruments are checked. Engines are checked. Takeoff data. V1, V2, and rotate are checked. Nav equipment is checked. Landing lights. Go on. Strobe lights. Go on. Pitot heat auto de-ice is required. It's not required. And TARA is set for there. So parking brake off. We'll go forward. Get ourselves ready to go. I do have live traffic on, so there will be other aircraft out here, as we saw. I may be turning them off in the future because they can't get in the way, and because we're not running ATC, it becomes a bit of a pain. Alright, brakes are set. 40% and stable. 10 degrees down on the stick. Brakes off. Thrust to flex. Airspeed's alive. knots. Neutralize the pressure. V1. Let's rotate. Bring the nose up to 17 degrees. Positive rate. Gear up. And fly the flight director. Thrust to climb. Nose coming down. Acceleration. Nose coming up. Tracking spoilers, or slats and flaps. Start our climb. I'm going to put the autopilot on. The autopilot can take over from here. A little bit of a rocking there. So the taxi light can come off. Spoilers can unarm. Coming back onto course. And we are climbing out on this murky day. Well, we're above the clouds. Got a good climb going. It's 8,700. So you just notice the time in the little bar at the top of the screen is actually real time. So it's not game time. This is a morning flight. Oh, that's a beautiful shot right there. So there's 10,000 feet. So we're going to go over to standard. Oop. We're going to go standard pressure. Landing lights can come off. Cabin crew can move around. And we're climbing out. So for the climb out, the autopilot seems to be working fine. The issues are with the VNAV on descent. So not exactly sure what to do about that. So I'm expecting a fairly uneventful flight. The weather in Frankfurt is not too bad. Let's go take a look at it. Yeah, not much in the way of clouds. It's only 5 degrees. Winds are out of the southwest, so should be an okay flight over. Climbing through 15,000. And everything is looking good so far. She does have a bit of an aggressive climb. Hopefully they work on that. And some of the movements don't seem to be as smooth as they should be. This is the A320 Neo project version 3.1 or 0.3.1. So it is modded out from the one that's included in the base package. It does make it more fun. You got more switches and stuff you have to play with and to do. I don't know if a lot of the systems behind it are set up, but it's good having that and having to wait for the APU and stuff like that, which is more realistic and more along the lines of what you'd actually have to deal with. Trying to see if there's any altitude restrictions as we head into Frankfurt. Yeah, flight level 11,000. That's okay. We still got a while to go before we get there. So everything's going good. We're currently coming up for Birmingham. It's off our right nose as we climb through 21,000 feet. Now if we go outside and take a look, we're probably covered in ice. Tends to be the general way this works. Ah, no, we're not. Pretty good. And we're up above the clouds. There doesn't seem to be much in the way of cloud above us. Looks like it's just going to be some beautiful sunshine. Go on this side, the sun's shining on this side of the plane. There we go. It's very nice. So we're going to watch the speed for cruise, make sure she's set at the right cruise speed. You can't change it in here, so it's in the McDo, so it's a little bit frustrating. Be nice to be able to change it. So Coventry is on our left nose now as we approach it. So our next waypoint, we're coming up to their big. It's actually just south, I guess southeast of London. It's the old Biggin Hill airfield from World War II, which is now, I believe, just a local airport. I don't know if there's much that goes on there. Local flights and general aviation stuff, I think. There we are. We're swinging around Coventry, which is down here below the clouds. Oh, a little bit of a break there. You can see down to the ground. So I've been doing a bunch of looking at the new Rex weather force for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. And I'm probably going to give it a shot. I'll probably grab it tomorrow and see how it does with the weather. Hopefully get some more accurate weather into the sim. See, our angle of climb is starting to decrease as we get further up. We're not bad on the speed actually there at 320. Ground speed of over 500 knots right now, so we're doing good. Should be a decent flight. So we're estimated to land in about an hour, or to be into the Frankfurt area in about an hour. So it should be a decent flight. No, I'm new to this OBS stuff, and especially for, well, not new. I record my videos with it, but for streaming. Yeah, see, there's the speed dropping back. So we'll crank that up to Mach 0.81 once we level off. So I'm trying something. I'm hoping you're hearing it. I've got some ATC Chatter should be playing in the background. We'll see if it does as we get when I play this back. But it's to add a little bit of realism. I gotta get my pattern down. I didn't have it on when we taxied out and everything, but I'll get used to that. So I've done a couple streams just to practice to get used to the technology and how it works. This is going to be the first one that stays live. There we go. We're going into cruise mode. Get our speed up to 8.1, which is our normal cruising speed, Mach number. I think the maximum you can do in this aircraft is 8.4, I believe, which would put us right up at the overspeed. There we go, settling in now at about 308. Gives us a nice ground speed of 528. According to the aircraft, 516. According to the overhead information. Yakubi, hi, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well on this weekend. You have the honor of being my first official viewer on my first official stream, so welcome to the club. And you got to say, there's an interesting lag between, of course, what I'm doing in the sim and what appears on the stream, and then comments and stuff. It's a good 10-second lag, I think. That's pretty good. At least I can see that stuff's working. So as I said, the weather in Germany is clear in central Germany anyway, where we're headed. So it should be a pretty decent landing. We'll have to do a little bit of vectoring at the end. But it seems that it'll be pretty straightforward. We'll just hop out for a minute and take a look at the aircraft. Can never get enough views of these planes from outside. There we go. For everyone else who's coming to the stream, if you want to throw a hi in chat and let us know you're here, so we can see who's watching, or not, you can hang in the back, lurk as it were. And if you have a minute, you can throw a like on it, hit the subscribe button if you would be so kind. Always helps the channel, and just lets me know that there are people out there that are watching. Take a look out the window. Well, it's always nice to have clouds. Sometimes it's nice to have it broken up a bit so you can see the ground as well. But it's always a good day when you're flying. So if anyone's got any questions about my setup or what I'm running, feel free to ask. I'm still, even this far out from when the game was released, I'm still tweaking settings, trying to get it looking the best I can without bogging down. It's looking pretty good so far. So I think the flight's about 2 hours. So right now it's 8:42 p.m. That's 12:42. No, should be an hour and a bit. So no, we should be on the ground in an hour, maybe just less than an hour. So we're currently over London. Probably passing directly over Heathrow by the looks of it. And that big, as you can see, we're going to make that turn to heading about what was that, 105, 106. And that'll put us out over Kent and then over the English Channel. It's pretty quiet right now. And yeah, so what would be happening in the cockpit in real life right now? Well, you'd have the pilots monitoring their position, monitoring air traffic control as they'd be switching through the control sectors. They've been monitoring the fuel burn. On the flight plan they get, there's a whole series of waypoints and the estimated fuel burn for the aircraft, so they'd be checking to make sure they're not burning too much fuel. So that's how they're keeping busy. It's a lot of monitoring and checking and making sure everything's good and everything is on schedule and within the predicted flight plan. For of course, for longer flights, they're monitoring the passengers and always figuring out if they have an emergency, something happens, if they have to divert, where do they go? So that's something they're keeping an eye on now as well. But other than that, they're just sitting back, and as is said sometimes, they have the best view out of an office window anywhere. And it's hard to disagree with that. I mean, some of the views and some of the images you see, sunrise, sunset, just fantastic out here. So if you've been to the channel, there's a number of videos I do and have done. I'm trying to get into a regular schedule on the types of videos I'm going to be putting out. And I think when I'm available on Saturday evenings, I'm going to live stream a flight. So most of the flights I do are connected to a virtual airline, as you saw when we were outside the livery for this aircraft. And the flights I do are in connection with them. So what I'm looking at doing is doing Airbus flights in Europe, building up my hours with the virtual airline, and then shortly I will have enough that I can move on to the 787, and I'm going to look at doing 787 flights, which will be longer. Oh, some of them can go for a long time. So you may see longer streams for them, but if you're into the flight simulator, and you're looking for a reason to do it, the virtual airline's good. It gives you targets and it gives you a reason to fly. Yeah, it can be, what do you mean by your computer RN. Can you expand on that a little bit? If you're asking what computer I'm running, it's a Intel 10900K, 32 gig memory, and I'm running a Nvidia 2080 Super graphics card, but I'm not sure of the finer details. If I watch the link, I've got the link, the feed up on a. It's a computer exploding. I've got the feed up on another computer, and it looks fine to me. Let me just do something here, and I'll just see what it looks like. Just waiting for the feed to catch up to what I just did. I'm just going to see if there's screen tearing or anything like that. Huh, that seemed to be okay. I'm not... Let me just go in and check something here. See if I can pull up any stats on the... Yeah. Oh, high graphics on in live streaming. Are you saying? Oh, but you're saying the image is fine. I just want to make sure because it looked good on mine. So I want to see. Yeah, it's a brand new PC. Sorry, I bought the PC specifically for flight sim. To give you my history a little bit. I go back. I flew. The first flight simulator I ever flew was on the Atari 2600 when it was basically line graphics. And I've flown all the flight sims, although I haven't flown them over the last 4 or 5 years. So when this came out, it was like a good opportunity to get back into it. So I went out and yeah, this is a brand new gaming PC that I picked up just for this. So it's all high-end stuff. Mainly for the game or for the sim, but I also because I figured I might be streaming it at some point. So it's yeah, it's doing good, and hopefully it as they tweak the sim, it'll keep looking better and better, as you can see. Now the graphics aren't all on high or ultra. Some of them are turned, like I said, I've been doing a lot of tweaking, so some of them have been turned down, some of them are to high instead of ultra. The clouds are set on high because they chew frame rates like crazy. But I think I've got a good balance between being able to watch it, and I'm watching it on a 32-inch 4K monitor. In 4K, so to watch it at that and still have good quality for recording and streaming. So I think it's worked out. Oh, that wind is annoying. I think it's worked out very well. So I'm fine tweaking here and there, but yeah, I think I've got a good balance for the most part. Sounds like a race car engine. Yeah, it's amazing how far this stuff has come over the years. I'm always amazed at what they can do, graphics-wise, and having been a pilot and flown for 14 years, flying the small general aviation stuff around and seeing the views and stuff, it brings back a lot of memories of that. So it's pretty cool. Okay, so we are almost over the channel. We are going to be coming ashore. Looks like just east of Dunkirk. We're making a turn for the next waypoint there. So this is kind of our long leg here over France. This will take us actually more through Belgium. And we're going to be flying across Belgium and then crossing into Germany just north of Luxembourg. So it should be good. So looking at the approach, on the approach plate, Unoko, which is our entry point into the approach, we have an altitude restriction of 11,000 feet. So we're going to descend to 11,000 feet by that point. So probably about 80 miles out, we'll start to descend. It's from Unoko. Now, as mentioned, the vertical navigation in the Airbus currently, I don't like the fact I'm on a bit of an angle there. The vertical navigation in the Airbus is currently not working properly. It puts the wrong information into the approaches. You can't edit them. So what I've been doing is doing it manually. And as a general rule of thumb, if you slow down to 250 knots and descend at 2,000 feet per minute, it will take you 80 miles to descend 30,000 feet. That's a rough. So you can kind of work it out from there. If you want to descend 15,000 feet, you need 40 miles. Or if you want to descend 15,000 feet in 80 miles, you can go at 1,000 feet per minute. And you can play around with how long it takes you to get down if you're looking for certain altitudes. So if you set 1,000 feet per minute, and if you'll notice on the display here, it tells you how many minutes until you reach your target. Let me just zoom in here. All right. So this is basically saying a 9 minute, or 9, I don't know why it's not ticking down. But usually it'll tell you, when you get closer, it'll tell you what time. I think it'll tell you what time. But you'll be able to figure it out that if you're descending at 1,000 feet per minute, you're going to need 5 minutes to go 5,000 feet. So if you've got to get down from, say, 20 to 15,000 and you've got 5 minutes, you can kind of say, well, you're going to need this much space to do it. And you can work out your descents. It's not too difficult. So from Rasvo, R-A-S-V-O, it's about 17 miles to Unoko, where we got to be at 11,000 feet. So it means we're starting to get close to where we got to start descending. So going back over to the METARs for Frankfurt. Ceiling and visibility okay. No significant weather. Winds are 160 at 3 knots. We're going to be landing on 2-3 left. That's fine. So that's how we'll manage the approach, where we'll be doing it manually. And this is the A320neo project. So it's the NX 0.3.1 version, the latest version that's out. So they've been able to add a lot of things, change a lot of things, make a lot of things functional. One thing they haven't been able to do is the VNAV, because I think that's coded more into the actual sim, and they haven't been able to change that. So it is what it is. We deal with it as we can, and hopefully they do updates and get it corrected eventually. Or like Aerosoft manages to release the A320 for it, and we switch over to that, because that's the one I flew with. FSX was the Aerosoft ones. Clouds are breaking up a little bit, but it's still pretty overcast out there. It's funny though, sometimes the live traffic planes that the game puts in can get in the way at airports, but then you come out here and there's kind of nothing around. So sometimes wonder why we put them on. The other thing I'm looking at doing is, as I mentioned earlier, is looking at the Rex weather they've created for here. Hopefully try to get some better weather representations and better live weather into the game. So just as a reference for those tracking, we're just about 15 miles south of Ghent in Belgium right now. What is better, FSX or Microsoft? Well, the thing about FSX, now that came out in I think 97, and it was the 10th release of the series, and people still use it today. And the reason it's still in use is because it's been so heavily supported by third-party developers with the aircraft and the scenery, and it's been pushed. It is pretty much operating at its limits. There's not much more you can do with it graphics-wise, and there's restrictions on how you can do things. But they've packed it. It was really good. But it's gone as far as it can go. This version, Flight Sim 2020, is brand new, basically from the ground up. It's going to have growing pains. It's going to take time for third-party stuff to come into it. There's so much more detail and things they can do that it takes longer to develop the aircraft for it. So it's got a bit of a road to go to get to where it has to get to. However, it is starting off on a much better platform than FSX was. So the graphics, the ability, like this type of thing, this 4K graphics, the level of detail you can get would just be unheard of in FSX. although X plane is starting to get up there. But I mean, this view is stunning of what you can do and what you can see outside. The terrain, the way that they're using the mapping for the terrain, it's getting better all the time. I've started flying around Japan, and they've done the first update to the terrain and the buildings and stuff in Japan, and it looks great. Over the next 6 months, they're doing region by region as they go through. So the terrain issues are getting sorted out. The weather looks really good. I think this thing is going to be phenomenal. They say they're going to like be actively supporting and pushing this for the next 10 years, with everybody coming on board to support it. All the third-party developers, from terrain to airports to aircraft to other things such as like pushback mods and weather mods and stuff like that. I think this is going to be phenomenal. Just in terms of what it can do and what it can't do. And when the big name aircraft developers like Aerosoft, in a way, their CRJ is looking fantastic. PMPG, when they start porting the 737s and their Dreamliner over, well, they're not porting it actually, they're building them from ground up again to bring them in. If Majestic brings the Q400 in, it's going to be phenomenal. But they got work to do. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, but I think their base starting level is so much higher that, well, the sky's unlimited, really. Alright, let's go down to the flight plan here. Okay. Okay, it has not put in my arrival. So we want the ILS for runway 25 left. And we're going with the Uncle 2B. Insert. Well, we're gonna have to play it by ear. See what this wants us to do. We're probably gonna end up vectoring ourselves around, and this is one of the things I do have to fix up, is the fact that SIDS and stars and approaches and stuff in the sim are not quite working the way they should be. Alright, so Rasov. I'm going to bring us down to 11,000. We'll do that for now. We'll just get ourselves set up so we can get in on the approach at the proper time and place. So we'll do a bit of a gentle descent down. I think what we'll end up doing probably is heading wide, and we'll just steer around and then come in. Because if I go to my... Yeah, I want to, there should be a whole series of legs that lead us around like this. So we'll probably do that on our own, come in through jaw and then in. All right. The weather does seem to be breaking up a little bit here. So you can see the approach. Now we should have, like I said, we should have been picking up a series of waypoints to swing us around. So once we pass Rathau, we'll probably just angle out that way and then angle around so we can pick up the ILS for the runway. Alright, so I pulled up the approach plate just so I can reference it. That's fine. There's 25,000. So let's enter in the weather information that we have. So we're going back to our performance. We go to our approach. So the current weather is 1020 for the QNH. Current ground temperature is 7 degrees. Winds are 1904. Transition altitude of 5,000 feet. And the decision height for the runway is 462 feet. There we go. So our approach information is entered. That's speed creeping up again. There we go. Get it back to 250 now. So one thing I'd forgotten, I knew it in the back of my head, but I'd kind of forgotten was Mach speed is dependent on air pressure. So as you decrease your altitude, the air pressure increases, which means your Mach speed has a higher airspeed correlation. So unlike airspeed setting where 250 is 250, if you do a Mach 0.7 at 30,000 feet is slower than Mach 0.7 at 20,000 feet. So if you're not paying attention, the aircraft will speed up on you as you descend. So at about 25,000 feet, I think you can switch back over to knots, which is what I've done, and locked it in at 250 now. Alright, so the localizer frequency is 111.15 with a 248 approach course. So if we go down here to our radio, 111.15, of course 250, close enough. Alright, so we're set up for the ILS. back over to my approach plate. Probably going to be a little bit high on this stage of it, but that's fine. I hope they bring in weather soon. Or seasons. It'd be nice to be coming in here and seeing the trees change color, or even a summer, winter. So when you come in, there's snow on the ground. And everything like that would be pretty cool. Okay, that's us below 20,000 feet. We'll give them a ding in the back. Put the seat belts back on. They can start getting themselves ready. Cabin crew can do the final cleanup back there. Beautiful day down here in central Germany. Alright, we're below 18,000 feet, so barometer goes back over to standard 3010, which I believe was the pressure setting. Oh, 3020. My mistake. A little bit of a higher pressure. There we go. And it's set on the standby as well. So we'll hold 250 knots at 11,000. When we start the next stage of descents, we'll slow her down to 210. Right, so here's how this works. I just remembered. So you can see here it says 9:47. So we're 3 minutes away from the next point we're going to. So 3 minutes, if you were descending at 1,000 feet per minute, would be 3,000 feet. So you could figure out what speed you need to be descending at as you approach. But for the most part, I do it by guesswork. If we're flying too low for a little while, that's fine. We want to be down at the proper altitude for our intercept, which is the big one. Some nice lakes down there. Okay, we're not going to Chav, we're going to... It's acting weird. So if you manage your speed and descent properly, you shouldn't need your spoilers. Generally, I've only had to need them if I have to get down really quick. So if they want me to expedite a descent or something like that. You can see we're 80 miles away from the airport, but we got to go past it and then swing back around. I don't know why that's saying Cha 5 miles away, because Cha is actually on the other side of the airport. It's over here. It's where we're headed after this point here. It's going to be interesting to see what it does. But here's 11,000 feet. We're leveling off now. See the boxes come around, so it's in altitude capture mode. There we go. Speed is set. It's captured, and the altitude will catch in a second. And there's your Cha. 87 miles out to Cha. So we're going to cruise at 11,000 for a few minutes. Get a nicer view of the train now. Some of the features start appearing. The hills here. Let me get a little bit closer to the window. There we go. See the hills and the valleys here of central Germany. This is what makes it, when you get a train like this, you know, live train features and a more or less accurate representation of what the ground looks like. I've flown over areas that I've flown over in real life, and it is it's pretty interesting recognizing them from the air in here as well. So we're going to maintain our altitude for a little bit. So I'm going to take us to 125. Just want to give us a little bit of room to make these turns. So on the approach plate, our intercept from Cha is done at 4,000 feet. And that's a pretty interesting turn we got to make to get on there. So Frankfurt's a busy airport. It is a main hub, and it is extremely busy. It's a pretty long airport too. Alright, so we're looking good. The airport's only about 45 miles away now. But again, we got to fly past it and do the approach here. I want to try to come in on a little bit less of an angle for the glide slope. There we go. Nice view of where we're headed. Really, really cool place to visit if you're ever in Germany is Munich, actually. Very scenic down there in the Alps in Bavaria. It's fantastic. But as this virtual airline is based out of the UK, there's 4 airports where they run out of. London Heathrow, London Gatwick, Manchester, and Edinburgh. I'm waiting for a third-party developer to put out an airport for one of those 4. And that's where I'll base my flights out of, so have a good, highly detailed, quality airport. See, it's little things like you can see the heat exhaust off the engines giving that distortion. Now I don't know how exaggerated that is, but it's a cool feature that you'd never get in FSX, or if you did, it would be a high-end add-on that would, you know, kill your frames and your performance on your computer. Anyway, time to jump back inside. I'm gonna go down to 40 miles here. So in Navigraph, I've got the aircraft position overlaid on the charts, and I'm kind of flying the approach manually. So we're coming up to a nav point called Ramab. And at Ramab, normally the aircraft would take us on the next heading. So I'm going to kind of do it myself as we go through. So we'll be heading a 113. We're also going to be dropping down to 8,000 feet at this point. We're going to go down at 1,000 feet per minute. Okay, and everything's good up there. Because at the next one, which is Rockham, R-O-K-I-M, we have to be down at 8,000 feet. Or just after, anyway. So the airport's 30 miles that way. There's 10,000, so landing lights will come on. Altimeter is set to the local pressure. Speed is 10,000. Flaps and landing gear are up. Fuel check. Fuel on board 7,800 kilograms. Way more fuel than we need, but that's fine. Now down around here, I'm going to want to be at about 5,000, 6,000. Oop. Some low cloud, but it's kind of scattered cloud. So we should be all right. So this is where we can play with our descent stuff. So once we get settled in here at 8,000, I'm going to set us to 6,000 and slowly bring us down so that we're about 6,000 when we get over here. So I'm going to do about 400 feet per minute. Also going to bring our speed back to 240. And there's the airport. Another little airport over here. So we're going to be going down here, swinging around, coming back the other way, and then landing. What is it? 2.5 left. That one right there. But obviously coming in the other way. And then we go to taxi over, and our gate's over here in the main terminal. We're slowly heading down to 6,000 feet. Looks like weather will not be an issue here. There's the two main runways there. There's another one offset here, and then there's this kind of north-south runway that runs over here. But I think with the way the winds are, most of it pushes basically east-west. I think that's Frankfurt right there. Coming down to 6,000. looks a little choppy. Let me just do this. Bring it back.
Correction 861 November, contact tower 118.3, bye bye.
118.3, bye bye.
See if that improves it.
Slot 15, turn left to Med.
Left to Med, slot 15.
Correction 861 November, flight level 271, descent for 150, Whiskey Alpha 412.
That's interesting. Just notice this. It shows cabin altitude and cabin vertical speed for the depressurization. Pretty neat.
Whiskey, Fly Foxtrot Whiskey, established on your last runway.
With 4 Fox Whiskey, contact tower 118.1, dziękuję.
Alright, that's us getting by the airport. We're almost down to 6,000 feet.
Lot 35 November, direct to Tonti.
Direct Tonti, lot 35 November,
A little bit of an air pocket there. So it's been a good flight. The weather's been pretty decent. Nothing much has happened. Everything is looking good.
Wizard 9 Charlie X-ray, descent altitude 3,000 feet, QNH 1016, fleet ILS runway 11 approach, photon established.
In a few minutes we'll turn towards Cha. CHA. So we'll hit on more of an angle this way, and then we can come around and do a better approach inwards.
Ryanair 11 Victor Mike, select the position at Barnum for Victor.
Alright.
Wicked first position, Ryanair 11 Victor Mike.
Start heading
Ryanair
over.
11 Victor Mike, Roger, continue descent altitude 3,000 feet on QNH 1023. Clear Cat 2, ILS approach runway 17, port
Go
section.
to a 6-4 heading.
Altitude 3,000 feet, QNH 102, clear down approach Cat 2, will go Ryanair 11 Victor Mike.
Actually, that's pretty good there. Go with an 8-0 heading.
Ryanair 11 Victor Mike, localizer established, Cat 2 at 9.7. Ryanair 11 Victor Mike, Roger, contact tower 119er, decimal 3, good morning. 193, Ryanair 11 Victor Mike, bye-bye.
Couple lonely wind turbines out there.
Ryanair 36, Hotel X-ray, descent altitude 3,000 feet, QNH 1023. Descent altitude 3,000 feet, 1023, Ryanair 36, Hotel X-ray.
So we've got to descend 2,000 feet to get into our approach, our arrival intercept.
Right at 360 degrees, Ryanair 36 Hotel X. Go Charlie Golf, South India, Roger, continue the right turn, head
20.
070.
Continue right turn on to 070 degrees, Golf Papa India.
Ryanair 82 Kilo Hotel from Barnum, cleared ILS approach runway 17, Cat 2. From Barnum, cleared ILS approach Cat 2, 117, Ryanair 82 Kilo Hotel, welcome.
Alright, let's go to 45.
Approach good, stay Ryanair 82 Kilo Hotel, descending flight level 122 Barnum, Boeing 738, information, India, QNH 1023. Ryanair 82 Kilo Hotel, Corday identified, number 1 ILS approach, way 17.
See your shadow down there on the ground, that's pretty cool.
3,000 feet, QNH 1022. Descend altitude 3,000 feet, QNH 1022,
There's the airport.
Ryanair 382 Kilo Hotel.
Speed back to 210.
Ryanair 82 Kilo Hotel, would you like vectors for the approach or self-position via Barney? We can self-position Barney, Ryanair 82 Kilo Hotel. Okay.
Over 43 Bravo Romeo, surface wind 200 degrees, 05 knots, contact tower 119.13, bye-bye.
Airline 3, 04 Bravo.
Established fraction 861 November.
Fraction 861 November, contact tower 118.3, bye bye.
118.3, bye bye, fraction 861 November.
Lot 15, turn left to Med.
Left to Melby, slot 15.
Over to 30.
861 November, flight level 271, descent level 150, Whiskey Alpha 412.
Fraction 861, approach allow descent flight level 100, information Charlie, high speed approved.
Descent level 100, high speed approved, we're checking Charlie, fraction 861.
Gotta watch for a little bit higher ground around here.
Yeah, 4 Foxtrot Whiskey established, ILS 11.
With 4 Fox Whiskey, contact tower 118.1, dziękuję.
Tower 183 with 4 Foxtrot Whiskey, dziękuję.
Alright, start the approach checklist. So, seatbelt signs are on. Radios are set. 210 knots are set. Landing lights are on. Taxi lights are armed. Ground spoilers are armed. Auto brake will be set for 1.
But 407 directed to Indic.
Flaps 1. Speed checked.
Wizard 9 Charlie X-ray, descent altitude 3000 feet, QNH 1016, fleet ILS runway 11 approach, protocol established.
3000, please for the approach, QNH 1016, full crew established, with 9 Charlie.
Alright. Speed to 180.
Over 1 Bravo Hotel, we're located established now at 10 miles.
Over 1 Bravo Hotel, Roger, contact tower 119.3.
Heading around to
Tower 193, over 1 Bravo Hotel, have a good one.
34. Altitude 4,000 feet.
Victor Mike, select position at Barnum.
Flaps 2.
We can start position, Ryanair 11 Victor Mike. Ryanair 11 Victor Mike, Roger, continue ascent altitude 3,000 feet on QNH 1023. Clear cat 2, ILS approach runway 17, approach established. Descent altitude 3,000 feet, QNH 102, cleared ILS approach cat 2, will go Ryanair 11 Victor Mike. Ryanair 11 Victor Mike, localizer established, cat 2 9.7. Ryanair 11 Victor Mike, Roger, contact tower 119.3, good morning. 193, Ryanair 11 Victor Mike, bye-bye.
Approach mode is activated.
Ryanair 36, Hotel X-ray, descent altitude 3,000 feet, QNH 1023.
Descent altitude 3,000 feet, 1023, Ryanair 36 Hotel X.
10 X-ray, select vectors, first rudder approach.
Yeah, I would accept that, Ryanair 36 Hotel X, thank you.
Heading is 300.
Okay, Roger, turn right, fly heading 360.
Right head 360 degrees, Ryanair 36 Hotel X.
A little bit of low cloud. Ooh, nice little village there.
Go Charlie Golf, South India, Roger, continue the right turn, head 070.
Continue right turn, up to 070 degrees, Golf Papa India.
Ryanair 82 Kilo Hotel from Barnum, cleared ILS approach.
ILS 111.15.
From Barnum, cleared ILS approach cat 2,
Course is set.
82 Kilo Hotel, welcome. Approach good, stay Ryanair 82 Kilo
Going to
Hotel,
intercept
122 Barnum, Boeing
at
738,
the
information, India, QNH 1023. Ryanair A2 Kilo Hotel Corday identified number 1 Island.
We're almost right on for the intercept point at
Descend altitude 3,000 feet, UNH 1022, Ryanair 382.
on the chart. Good. It's 4,000 feet.
Ryanair A2 Kilo Hotel, would you like vectors for the approach or self-position via Ryanair? We can self-position Ryanair A2 Kilo Hotel. Okay.
Over 43 Bravo Romeo, surface wind 200 degrees, 05 knots, contact tower 119.13, bye-bye.
Approach mode is active.
Established fraction 861 November.
Fraction 861 November, contact tower 118.3, bye-bye.
118.3, bye-bye, fraction 861 November.
We're
Left 15, turn left to my...
just going to line up here onto the localizer. This is one of the see the airport over there. This is one of the little things they gotta correct, is this seeking back and forth. It should have just held the course until it intercepted. That's fine.
We're checking Charlie fraction 861.
So 115.15 course 247 ILS runway 25 left. There's the turn. Glide slope is showing.
Tower 18.3 with Foxtrot with 10 clear.
We are stable. 180 airspeed. Give him the ding in the back.
Cabin crew seats for landing, please.
Glide slope is moving.
Wizard 9 Charlie X-ray, descent altitude 3,000 feet, QNH 1016, fleet ILS runway 11 approach proton established.
3,000, click for the approach, QNH 1016, full crew established, Wizard 9 Charlie.
Over 1 Bravo Hotel, we're localizer established now at 10 miles. Over 1 Bravo Hotel, Roger, contact tower 119.3, morning. Tower 193, over 1 Bravo Hotel. Have a good one.
Everything is looking good.
Ryanair 11 Victor Mike.
Winds are pretty much dead ahead at 14 knots, slightly to the right, so not too bad. As glide slope is captured, so 245 knots.
3000 feet, QNH 102, clear down as approach cat 2, Wilco Ryanair 11 Victor Mike.
Third level of flaps, gear down.
Ryanair 11 Victor Mike, localizer established cat 2 9.7. Ryanair 11 Victor Mike, Roger, contact tower.
Gear down 3 green, landing flaps are set. So we're on the glide slope, we're on the localizer.
Ryanair 36 Hotel,
everything is looking good.
That altitude 3,000 feet, 102.
Spoilers are armed, flaps are down. Auto brake is set.
Okay, I would accept that, Ryanair 36 Hotel.
Runway in sight and identified.
Okay, Roger, turn right, fly heading 360. Right head 360 degrees, Ryanair 36 Hotel.
Winds are pretty steady.
Golf Charlie, Golf Pop India, Roger, continue the right turn, head 070. Continue the right turn, on to 070 degrees, Golf Papa India.
So we got an aircraft out past the airport there.
Ryanair A2 Kilo Hotel from Barnew, cleared ILS approach runway 17 cat 2. From Barnew, cleared ILS approach cat 2 17 Ryanair 82 Kilo Hotel, welcome. Approach good day, Ryanair 82 Kilo Hotel, descending flight level 122 Barno, Boeing 738, information, India, Greenwich 1023. Ryanair 82 Kilo Hotel, Corday identified, number 1 Island, approach way 17, left turn in, continue descent altitude 3000 feet, QNH 1022. Descent altitude 3000 feet, QNH 1022.
Speed is established.
82 Kilo Hotel.
Parking brake is off. Ooh.
Ryanair 82 Kilo Hotel, would you like vectors for the approach or self-position via Ryanair? We can self-position
And we are
Ryanair 82
good.
Kilo Hotel. Okay.
ECAM shows no blue.
Number 43 Bravo Romeo, surface wind 200 degrees, 05 knots, contact tower 119.13, bye-bye.
Alright, 3 Kilo 40 Bravo.
Established fraction 861 November.
Correction 861
miles
November,
out.
contact tower 118.3, bye-bye.
118.3, bye bye, fraction 861 November.
Lot 15, turn left to Medi.
Left to Medi, slot 15.
Oh, that's not an airplane. That's out of the airport. It's the beacon light for the airport.
861 November, flight level 271, descent level 150.
Runway is clear.
Fraction 861, approach allow descent flight level 100, information Charlie, high speed approved.
Descent level 100, high speed approved. We're checking Charlie, fraction 861 November.
Everything's looking good.
And Whiskey, 4 Foxtrot Whiskey, established ILS 11.
With 4 Fox Whiskey, contact tower 118.1, dziękuję.
Tower 18-3 with 4 Foxtrot Whiskey, dziękuję.
Looks like a little bit of turbulence there.
November, direct to Tomty.
Direct Tomty, load 35 November, check.
Let's follow the
Landing.
direct to Indik. Direct Indik, let's follow 07. Wizard 9 Charlie X-ray, descent altitude 3000 feet, QNH 1016, fleet, ILS runway 11 approach, proton established. 3000, click for the approach, QNH 1016.
The markers.
Established, Wizard 9 Charlie.
Heading for the touchdown zone.
Number 1 Bravo Hotel, we're low level established now at 10 miles.
Number 1 Bravo Hotel, Roger, contact tower 119.3, morning.
Tower 193, number 1 Bravo
Float
Hotel,
it.
have a good one.
And we're down. Reverser's engaged. Hold her on the center line.
Ryanair 11 Victor Mike, would you like self-position at Barno for vectors? We can self-position Ryanair 11 Victor Mike. Ryanair 11 Victor Mike,
60 knots.
descent altitude 3000
Reverser's
feet,
off.
QNH 1023. Clear cat 2, ILS approach runway 17, port established.
Auto brake
Descent
off.
altitude 3000 feet, QNH 102, clear down
Get off
approach
at the
cat
next
2, Wilco,
one.
Ryanair 11 Victor Mike.
And we'll clean up the aircraft.
Ryanair 11 Victor Mike, localizer established, cat 2, 9.7. Ryanair 11 Victor Mike, roger, contact tower 119.3, good morning. 193, Ryanair 11 Victor Mike, bye-bye.
We're exiting to the right.
Ryanair 36, Hotel X-ray, descent altitude 3000 feet, QNH 1023. Descent altitude 3000 feet, 1023, Ryanair 36, Hotel X.
Taking this one here, as that one is closed.
First order approach. Okay, I would accept that, Ryanair 36, Hotel X, thank you. Okay, roger, turn right, fly heading 360. Right head 360 degrees, Ryanair 36,
Stop
Hotel
here
X.
for a second. Figure out where we're going. So, spoilers disarmed, flaps retracted.
Go, India, roger.
Engine mode
continue right
selector
turn,
normal.
070.
Continue right turn.
Landing lights are off. Taxi light to taxi. Strobe lights are off. APU coming on. Anti-ice not required. Brake temperature.
Approach runway 17 Cathay.
A little bit of a
From Barnu, cleared out of
hesitation there. Brakes are good. And transponder comes off. So we are taxiing to gate.
Approach good. Stay liner 82 Kilo Hotel, descending flight level 120 Barnu, Boeing 738 information.
Okay.
Finish 1023. Liner 82 Kilo Hotel,
Let's get the APU.
Approach way 17.
Start.
Descent altitude 3000 feet, QNH 1022. Descent altitude 3000 feet, QNH 1022, liner 382 Kilo Hotel.
Just lost complete power in the aircraft.
Liner 82 Kilo Hotel.
I have no idea why.
Position via Barnu. We can start position Barnu.
Looks like we're ending with a technical failure. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching the first live stream. As I said, I'm going to try to do them every Saturday. Hope you join us for the next one in a week. Until then, thanks for watching. If you hit the channel, please hit subscribe. Throw a like on it. Like on the video would be greatly appreciated. See you next time.
861 November, contact tower 118.3. Bye bye.
118.3. Bye bye. Approach 861 November.
I have no idea what just happened. It just shut off.